Hello and welcome to Chronic Pain Conversations. My name is Sharifa McLaren, and this is my beautiful co-host, Kalila Bourgeois. This is a show where we have open and honest dialogue about chronic pain. We ourselves share on our experiences, acknowledge the vast variety of chronic pain diagnosis, and look at ways to manage chronic pain in order to give this community support to know that they are not alone. So, one of the things that we like to do to start our show is do a check-in with each other as to where our pain level is for the day and what got us there. So, Kalila, what's your pain level today?
I'm at a 5 today, Sharifa. We had to move from one location to another yesterday, so that drained my energy. Last night, literally falling asleep, my poor roommate, Kanisha, all she heard me doing was screaming in pain, just ow, 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 like just random bits of pain, which really just suck. And then this morning I woke up, my lower back hurts, but my body and my hips hurt. This is the everyday life of a fibro fighter. But it doesn't matter. My heart is in a good place. We put ourselves in a good spirit. We're ready to have this show. So I'm like, the pain sucks, but mentally I'm a 10.
You're there.
What about you, girl? Tell me, how are you doing this morning?
My pain level right now, I'm going to say is about a 7. Of course, just getting ready for the morning. We having good weather over some not so good weather, I should say. Ooh. But with that, chronic pain kind of tends to mend with whatever the weather is. But other than that, like you said, mentally, I am 100% ready to dive in and get this show on a roll. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too to get this started. Okay, so, sorry, I've got a feedback going on over here. Okay, so let's talk about what our show is today because, we've got something, we're starting something. It's not completely new, but, we've revamped it and I'm really excited about it. Okay, so today we're doing an intro show for all of our viewers because there's a lot of people that don't know us and our following has been going through the roof, which we really like. And so what we wanted to do is to start this, this new series off, this new season off was myself and Sharifa. We wanted to talk about who we were individually and why we're even doing this show. And then we wanted to kind of get into our question of the day. And today's question of the day is, what chronic pain topics would you like CPC to explore? So as we're going through the show, if you're watching this and you're jumping on, tell us, let us know what your chronic pain is or if there's something that you want us to take a look at. So are you guys ready to start the show?
I am so ready.
Let's go. Okay, Sharifa, let's start off with us. We've come to the table and decided to do a show about our lives in chronic pain, but I'm sure that the viewers want to know more. What exactly do the two of us know about chronic pain? So let's talk about me. I'm going to start off with me. For our viewers, if you're looking at me, my name is Kalila, aka the Overcomer. Basically, what was happening when I was finishing 2016, it was a great year. I was going away. I came back. I was an executive assistant and I was a motivational speaker. I was touring around North America. I was volunteering in my church community, both locally, provincially, and around North America. I was literally in a place where I was raising funds to have my down payment for my first house. And you know what? I thought I was living on top of the world. You guys know what I'm feeling? Mm-hmm. But then in January 2017 I was on my way to my personal trainers when my whole world got turned upside down, you guys. So I was in a car accident where somebody hit me from the passenger side door, but I was in the driver's seat. So, I was experiencing pain and things like that. And I'd gotten diagnosed with whiplash and, they were like, take some time off. But my physiotherapist, she was really concerned. She's like, you're not recuperating the way that we're used to seeing you recuperate. And she actually diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. However, if you are like us in Canada, you normally need it to be your physician or someone with a medical, certain criterias before they actually give you that diagnosis. So one day when I was visiting my doctor's office, I actually had a flare up in the middle of his office, and he touched my trigger points. And it was at that point in time that I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Prior to the accident, I already had IBS, but then after the accident, I had developed GERD and hiatal hernia, which were things with your intestines. Back now, I was at a place where I would learn at the tender age of 40 something. Okay, yes, ladies, gentlemen, I'm in my 40s. That I'd also have alpha thalassemia. And it's a hereditary blood disorder. It's kind of similar to sickle cell anemia. But I didn't find this out until after the accident, because the accident had triggered off this iron deficiency, right? But then to like deal with everything else in terms of this devastating side effects that I was dealing with after seeing a neurologist, after having numerous tests, after having EGGs and CAT scans and all that stuff, I was then diagnosed with something called PNES, which is psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. So they're not coming from the brain. So since I had already grown up with a lot of traumatic experiences, we might get into that later on down the road, I knew that this new chapter of my life was going to be difficult. I mean, I was just in a car accident, but I had already developed a resilience to pain. So I was determined not to let anyone take away any of my freedoms. And so I had made the decision that I was going to fight for my life. Right? As a fibro fighter, it's like, what do you want to give up? What do you want to give into? So I went through different fibro support groups and pain management groups held by hospitals and arthritis organizations. I contacted with so many fibro-friendly physicians and specialists that I could, just to get the support and create a clinical team. All because, the one thing that I was passionate about in my life was canoeing. I'm a nature girl, and I was like, I am going to work my butt off to do whatever I can to get that one thing that brings me peace back into my life. So I worked for like 3 long years with the physiotherapist, the massage, the family doctors, the numerologist, the rheumatologist, the pain clinics, the chiropractors, the psychologist, even a personal trainer. Like, look at the list that I dealt with. And I had a few hiccups. I fell out of a wheelchair at an airport, and I had a couple of things, but I was getting towards my goal. And then last August, I met my goal. I went camping. I was chaperoned. I still have the fibro pain. I still have my seizures. And I was on the water, and I had my peace. And then a week later, the very next week, I ended up in another car accident. And this time I got hit from the driver's side, and they had to just actually crowbar me out of my door to get me out of my own car. And so I'm doing this show right now because over the last 4 years, I have seen people in our chronic pain community with darkness, with sadness, being overwhelmed, trying to deal with grief, trying to deal with their pain, and all while having their loved ones and the people who swore to help them with their health sometimes give them little to no support. So right now, even though, chronic pain is labeled as an invisible disability, I'm sitting at this table right now because I want to be that voice where I want to make that invisible, what they consider something invisible, visible. So that's my story in a nutshell. We can get into deeper about it later on and some other things. But Sharifa, tell me, why are you at this table right now?
So I am like Kalila here because I too have had my own experiences. I went away to school in 2011 during my first year at university, and I wasn't feeling well, didn't know what it was. I did get diagnosed in Alberta where I was with lupus nephritis, but funny enough, I didn't know what exactly it was or the severity of it. And it's funny, I got medication and ongoingly I was like, all right, well, this comes in like a cold. So what can I take to go away? And in doing research, I realized that it was a chronic illness that I would have for the rest of my life. Possibility of it going into remission, but like Kalila, I could have flare-ups where it does damage over time. With that, I felt the need to come back home, be with my family, get the support that I would need because I was in Alberta by myself. And when I did come back, I maybe had my biggest flare up in 2012. And then later on, 2014, I started dialysis. So the lupus nephritis caused chronic kidney failure, which now I'm doing dialysis 3 times a week. And I'm like Kalila, I was so involved in doing certain things. And believe it or not, chronic illnesses, sometimes we don't look like we're sick, but body sometimes is tired, you ache. Going to the grocery store and doing your hour grocery shopping sometimes just turns into you having to do groceries online and having it delivered to your, like, it's just, it takes away a lot and it changes everything. So my reason for being here is I want to advocate for those who believe they can't advocate for themselves, let others know that there are people like me and Kalila that, you know, are out there. We need support. And just to give support, people who are watching this, as simple as a little leg pain, we got you. We feel it too.
Okay. So, Sharifa, our audience doesn't know this, but when we first sat at the table to discuss making the CPC show, the original game plan was just to talk about our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we realized that there was so many people in this community, this chronic pain community, that needed support and a voice, right? So we went on a journey to find our way on how many diagnoses were associated with chronic pain. And we came across the conditions list on the American Chronic Pain Association website. So now I know originally when we had this conversation, I was like, oh yeah, there's like 60 or 70. But then I went back and I counted, and there was exactly 130 chronic pain diagnoses on that list. Like 130. I had no idea.
Funny enough, I heard of them, but I didn't know they were chronic.
Right. Then when we were trying to decide which topics to address, we then went into the Government of Canada's calendar of health days, which I also didn't know was there. And we were like, we found another 130 special days and months listed. This blew my mind because there weren't all the exact chronic pains that were listed, right? So we're here and we're like, okay, we've only got 52 weeks in a year. Which ones do we talk about? Because there's more diagnoses than there are in terms of chronic pain. So let me ask you this, Sharifa. Which 3 chronic pain issues did you not know about before we started our research?
So I didn't know about gout.
Okay.
Mind you, I've heard about it, but I didn't know it was a chronic illness. So that was very surprising. I didn't know about shingles.
Okay.
Shingles. And also muscular dystrophy.
Okay. Were any of those 3 anything that was like that you looked into in terms of the understanding about them or anything? Was there anything that you were like?
So, what I thought about shingles, let me say that, is that I thought shingles was like, let's say you already had chicken pox when you were younger. That was like a part 2. I was absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. So that was one thing that I was like, oh, light bulb.
Okay. Okay, so my 3, well, now, and it was really funny because, you know, I came up and I was talking about my IBS, my irritable bowel syndrome. I didn't know that was actually a chronic pain. Like, I didn't ever think
so. Right?
I mean, it makes sense in my head because I have pain with it, but I didn't know that it was actually a chronic pain. Then there was, okay, and please excuse me if I don't say this right, because we are still learning some of the words that are out there. And you know how scientists like to take this definition and put it with this.
Yeah.
So, polycystic kidney disease, all right, also known as PKD, is an inherited disorder in which clusters of cysts develop primarily within your kidneys. That just sounds painful. Cysts are like non-cancers around sacs, and they like get filled with water fluid, and they can vary in size. So although kidneys usually are the most severely affected organs, polycystic kidney disease can cause cysts to develop in your liver and anywhere in the body. And this disease causes a variety of severe complications. I was like, ow. And what was really funny was I've had a cyst growing up. I've had a few, but the sounding of this just, it hurts me just to say it.
I go through dialysis with kidney disease, and I've never heard of that one. So that's interesting as well.
Okay, and then the next one, which was really interesting because this is the eye opener that we've been talking about. things like knee injury and back injury. Now, you sit back and you're like, oh, whatever, you had a back injury. And it's really funny because as a fibro fighter, with me dealing with chronic pain, my back is always hurting.
Mm-hmm.
But we never sit back and think about the fact that, if someone had a back injury, if an athletic hurt their knee, if somebody had something, they could be their whole life, for the rest of their life, they're dealing with back or arm or knee injuries. And they are just in pain. Like you were talking about with the weather today, right? I know what it feels like when the rain's coming in, when the cold.
Yeah.
And I just never thought about it.
We know it's going to rain before it rains.
Right. And so it's just a real eye opener that when someone's saying, I live with knee pain or back pain, that in truth, that they might be having a long life chronic pain for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go into our next question. And I'm just going to bring this up again because we do have the question of the day. And our question of the day is, okay, make sure you guys, audience, put us in your comments. Let us know, what chronic pain topics do you want CPTC to explore? Tell us if there's a chronic pain that you're dealing with. And we'll take a look at if we're exploring it already or not. So Sharifa, let me ask you, what 3 chronic pain issues are you excited about to discuss this year? Tell me, girl.
Okay. So I'm excited because I've had vascular issues before. I'm excited to talk about vascular pain because I didn't know that was a chronic pain. So I want to kind of see what comes about on that topic. I'm also interested to talk more about Crohn's.
Oh.
I know someone who's recently close to me that got diagnosed with Crohn's, so that would be interesting as well.
Do you know anything about it? Just like briefly, anything about it?
Honestly, I know it's autoimmune based, but I don't know much. So that's where my interest is gonna lie.
Okay.
Partially.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be biased straight. I'm interested to dive into lupus because that's my baby. So I'm interested because I know firsthand on that. So that would be an easy topic for me. And I'm excited to just share what I know, being a firsthand experiencer of it.
Okay. Okay. So my 3 are, first and foremost, patient rights. Okay. I am, well, first of all, you know me as a motivational speaker, aspirational speaker. I'm about advocating for people. So I can't wait till we talk about patient rights in terms of, going in there and what your rights are, how you're supposed to be treated, how our medical society is supposed to acknowledge us and deal with us when we go and visit them. The next one is myofascial pain. Okay. And when I tell you what this is, it sounds similar to fibromyalgia, but it's not. Myofascial pain syndrome is chronic pain of the muscle pain. And it's the pain that centers around sensitivity points in your muscles. So one doctor said to me, if you look at chicken, when you pull that skin off the chicken, there's that thin film around it, that little slimy film before you go into like the actual meat.
Right.
That's kind of similar to when it's in our skin. And so that is what's been really sensitive. It was something that I went and explored in terms of my body, but I really want to give people some understanding because I feel like it might help our community a little bit. And then one of the things is, so what you guys don't know is you'll learn this huge history about me. But I am actually a child and youth worker. I have my diploma in that. And so I can't wait to talk about children's pain. Like, we don't even explore that concept. There's things like growing pains. Like, we hear about growing pains, but growing pains is real.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. And then there's something else called juvenile dermatitis. Okay, again, give us some time, people. We're trying to figure these words out. Dermatitis. I can't remember.
Y'all get it.
By the time we do this show, I'll get it. And this is just about inflammation disease in terms of, like, there are kids that are having problems getting in and out of their car, walking up the stairs. And I understand what that feels like. But now I'm sitting back and I'm like, wait a minute, you're telling me that a 3-year-old,
I actually know a little girl, she could walk. She got hit with this autoimmune thing and she had to learn to walk all over again. 3 years old. And imagine at 3 years you're studying the hanging of walking.
It's not fun. Like, when I had my accident, my trainer would tell you, like, if I walked up 7 flights of stairs, I was shaking at the end of it. Like, my body would be like ridiculous. And now it's like, We've got, and this is affecting something like 3 and 1 million children each year. So it's not a huge thing, but our kids are dealing with chronic pain. So
they're not as verbal as us either. So it's good that we're going to touch on that.
Right? Because they don't know how to use it. Like as adults, we're still trying to figure out some words. And what is it going to be like for our kids? So I really want to dig into that one. I'm
excited.
I'm excited too. Okay. So what's next, Miss Sharifa?
So right now we're going to go into see what answers we got from our audience. We had asked you what chronic pain topics you would like for CPC to explore. So let's take a look at some of the answers. I think we got one answer, and that's from Marlon Hanna. They want us to explore complex regional pain syndrome. Kalila, I don't think we saw that one.
Really?
I don't remember that one.
Okay, so
but that one seems like one I really want to dive into. That one seems very interested. Complex regional pain syndrome.
The fact that it says complex scares me, Sharifa.
It's already complex looking at it.
When they started off with the word complex, I'm like, oh dear Jesus. But thank you, Marlon. If there's anybody else out there and you are seeing this even after our show is live, if there's a chronic pain that you want us for us to discuss, put it in the comments. We're going to be looking at it. You know, again, we're trying to be a voice for everybody. So we don't know what to talk about unless you tell us. We've got an idea, but, you know, tell us what you want. And remember, we've only got 52 weeks. So we may come back to some of these. We may already have some of these on our list, and we may have some of these that we're like, oh, we got to get this next year. Because that's how long we plan to be around for this.
And even with that being said, you guys can always send us a message on our social media platform, CPC Conversations, at any time and let us know what you want us to speak about.
Awesome. Okay. So we got to start like bringing this down. We've got a couple of amazing things. Do we have a keep you moving moment today? Just wondering.
We don't.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do. Give us, Sharifa, give me what your advice is. What encouragement do you have? You know, we're down to our last 8 minutes and we got a couple of things to finish off with. But tell us, what are some of the things that you want us to do?
So for the most part, we are just getting started. I'm so excited to be bringing this to all of you who are watching us every week. Excited to at least just take half an hour of your time so that we can bring you some exciting and great information to keep you going in your lives, no matter whether you're a support to somebody or someone themselves dealing with a chronic pain. And just always remember to live, laugh, and love. Times are rough. Life will, throw a ton of bricks at you, but just know that you are not alone in whatever aspect of life that might bring you down. You are not alone, and we are always here.
Okay. Mine is that, we are here. You know, we're starting it off. We may not get everything right at the beginning. None of us always get it right, but we're about bringing a voice to this community. We're about showing love. We are looking to have people on here that are doctors, that are physicians. We want to hear your stories too. We want to hear the voices of our chronic pain sufferers and what they're going through. And we would love your support. You know, share, like, do all of these different things so that people know that we have this. I have yet to see something like this. I mean, like, I hear people posting and all this other stuff, but I think that what we're doing, this initiative is definitely different and new to this community. So, tell us, give us some directions and things like that. Sharifa, I've got our Move It moment. Can I share it before we go?
Go for it.
Now, I'm sure that some people may have already heard this, but this is actually something that has always kept me going. This poem is called Our Deepest Fear, and I've always loved it since I first heard it. So here we go. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Yes, even in the midst of chronic pain, people. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God.
Mm.
Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I think, Sharifa, that poem is a perfect example of what is happening right now. Right now,
Absolutely.
as much as we have had fear in our lives and that
Mhm.
stopped us, right now we are about shining and getting rid of that deepest fear and trying
Absolutely.
to live our life to the best that we can. So that is our keep it, move it moment. Sharifa, close us out.
So we want to thank everyone for joining us on another episode of Chronic Pain Conversations. I am Reefa McLaren on Instagram, all social media platforms. You can also find me on YouTube, The Thomas Life. That's more of a family, fun-oriented, entertaining channel. Kalila.
So I am the overcomer, as you can see, and no, there is no E. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. I'm on, name it, I'm on it. I'm on LinkedIn. And I'm just talking about my story because I've been through a multitude of things. So you can follow me on any of those platforms because, we're talking about chronic pain and we want to tell you not just on this platform, but all the other platforms, what's going on with our lives. So yes. Mm-hmm.
So of course, if you want to be a guest, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are looking, Kalila, what's the best way to get across firsthand information than from firsthand experiencers? So don't be afraid to sign up for being a guest on our social media platforms. You can share your story and guarantee someone will get back to you. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, please. If you do miss an episode, that's where you can find all our episodes.
Perfect. And just to let you know, we want to thank right now this season, or this actual episode was brought to you by Fiber Fighters Stand Up. It's a non-for-profit organization for chronic pain sufferers led by chronic pain sufferers. So you can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Fibro Fighters Stand Up, or visit their website at www.fibrofightersstandup.org. That's it, you guys. This is a 30-minute show. We just wanted to introduce ourselves this year so that you understood what it was that me and Sharifa were standing for and fighting for. Yeah. And this is the show that enlightens you about chronic pain.
Definitely. Guys, next week's show, we're going to be discussing trigger points and myofascial pain. So you definitely don't want to miss out.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. I had a ball today, Sharifa.
I'm excited, and this is just the beginning.
It is. It is just the beginning. I can't wait to go down this journey with you. I can't wait to go down this journey with our audience members. And from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you. If anybody asks what Chronic Pain Conversation is, you tell them it's the show that enlightens about chronic pain. My name's Kalila.
I'm Sharifa.
Have a good day. Bye.